Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Let's get this up and running. Celine, hello. Timothy, hello. Changeling Hexbard. Uses a appear in a pistol. I assume that's a character suggestion for today. I will put that on the list. Oh, let's get things set up here. Okay. Nope, now I've lost the Aggie link. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Whoop. Let's get going. Let's start with a rugby sketch today. How is everyone? Hope everyone's doing well. We have a new video out, which is good. We have a whole bunch of suggestions today from the community posts as well as from the live stream chat. And we will we'll just be buzzing through those. That's the plan. It's Friday. We got a busy week. We had have a lot of work set up ahead of us, so we might even do a little bit of Twitch streaming a little later on to work on some of those things. But otherwise, yeah, we're gonna start with a rugby, and then we'll go from there. We'll start drawing people's characters.
Potential double stream day. That's exciting.
Yeah, I got work I gotta do, and I won't be busy this weekend, so hopefully.
Sure.
You know how Fridays are.
Yeah, yeah.
The Fridays on YouTube are actually usually pretty good. Fridays on Twitch are usually just dead. I'm not sure why. I had always blamed Critical Role because everyone stays up too late watching the live stream or the replay. There's also a replay Friday mornings. So
yeah.
Nord, hello, hello. I'm not sure what I'm doing today, but apparently I'm doing a very bubbly rugby.
I'm not sure what Mike and I'm doing today.
Ooh. One of my friends asked me why I'm not making money DMing D&D. Because he lives in California, and he was like, oh yeah, these guys pay like 20 or 30 bucks a session to play D&D from some random guy they don't know. And I was just like, I mean, it's kind of how the Patreon worked for a while. but yeah, it's not really interesting. People are very polarized on it, on like paying for DMs, but nope, hate it. It's gonna even rugby. Mickey Mouse ears. I completely forgot you had a stream today. Yeah, usually every Wednesday and Friday. How are you today? I'm doing well, Bugbear. What's new cooking on the character concept arts? Not a lot. This week we have, I think we have 12 more suggestions or so. I think we just got a 13th. So we'll see if we can buzz through those. The new hotness is essentially trying to get a D&D character without telling people it's a D&D character, I think. Everybody is on the Wizards is evil, but I still want to play D&D. So, which, no shade. I just maybe I'm a little less shameless about it.
That's fine. We just use Pathfinder stuff.
Oh yeah, Pathfinder's great. I feel like I keep thinking about the meme of like people being like, "What? Watsy was the big bad evil guy the whole time?" So, always was. Always was. I love Pathfinder, so
Yeah, same.
I'm not super heartbroken over the whole fiasco because, like I said, I kind of like I already knew that. So that sounded really arrogant, and I'm sorry about that. Not to belittle the bullshit that they've done. I'm gonna keep playing games I love with people I like, and I'll find a way to be happy with it. Don't worry about it. I play D&D currently, but I won't spend money on it. Sadly, my brother got me into Magic. That's a great way to spend your money. I mean, like it's a great way to spend all of your money. Is a better way to say it. Yeah, Magic is a money sink, but it's really fun. I do enjoy Magic the Gathering. I'm gonna
At
play
this
some.
point, Magic is about as big a money sink as Warhammer 40k, isn't it?
Oh, more. I would say more so.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be, right? Like, you can play Magic with, I don't know, $12. Like, that's all you need to play the game. But no, I've known a lot of people that have made poor financial decisions with Magic the Gathering. So much so that it's not uncommon. But Warhammer is similar, but with Warhammer, you usually have to have a pretty big investment to play. Magic has a very low barrier to entry, but a high like pay to win type scenario. Like the most powerful cards are the most expensive cards. So
yeah.
So it really just depends. Like there's a lot of good tournament ready decks that you can get for like under $60. Which is not bad because like they have infinite replayability, right? Like but where the money sink comes in is if you're playing standard, like there's new stuff every 3 months. And so I know some people that want to keep playing that, and then it is just every 3 months they're buying new decks, new boosters. And that's what they like. Like that's the type of tournament play they want to do, is where it's always fresh and rotating. But I mean, I've had one deck that I think I've spent a total of, well, I take that back. I've spent a total of maybe $40 on it, and I've had it for 15 years. Every now and again, I'll add like one card that's $1. But if that deck also does have like a $90 card in it that somebody gave me for a birthday present one year, and it's just like, oh, like it wasn't $90 at the time, but it is now worth $90. So yeah, it's one of those weird things because it's a collection game as well as a playable entity. So you can sink a lot of money into it. The song absolutely hits. This is a good one. I'm gonna thumbs this one up. All the right moves, huh? Yeah, that's a good one. YouTube safe. I hope so. I haven't played Pathfinder, though I've been looking into it. Yeah, it's really fun. Pathfinder is essentially made by the people that I feel had the correct amount of passion in 30.5. Like, it's made by old school D&D players.
Yeah.
So
old school D&D developers.
Mm-hmm. So I very much appreciate Paizo and all that they do. So that's really what when I'm saying like I kind of knew WotC was the big bad for a long time, because like Paizo's been around for almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
10 years like in the public eye, but yeah, like they've been
almost 20 years. The let's see, the OGL was published for I think it was 2000, if I'm remembering things correctly.
I think it was 2000. Yeah, 2003, 2004, something like that. It was pretty.
Yeah, so that was published for third edition. So then 3.5 must have come out a couple years after that. And then Paizo ostensibly split off either just after or just before.
Yeah, I think
fourth edition
2009
came out,
is when they like became a company. It's 2009, and then they released like 2011, 2012. The first book. Wanted to get into more D&D, but I haven't known. Oh, I've only known 5e, and now it feels like my interest is kind of wasted, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think you should feel that way. Like, tabletop RPGs are great, and I do. 5e was great for introducing people to tabletop RPGs, but totally. It's such a huge world and game type. So if you really enjoy it, like improv-based storytelling with people like that, Pathfinder is perfect. Like, play the older editions, like 2nd edition, 3rd edition are all really fun. 3.5 or 3.5. Sorry, 5th edition really was like the condensed, really low barrier to entry version of D&D. And so anywhere you go from here, especially if you've played at all, like it just adds complexity, which people usually really enjoy. So I don't think turning away from D&D is not something that I think is required, but I don't know how much I'll be supporting D&D 1 in the future. But that's it, right? It's just like, if you guys do shitty things, I'm not gonna buy your products. I still love D&D. I love the community. I'm still gonna play Pathfinder. I don't think you have to feel like it's wasted, because time well spent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is my opinion that the only thing that 5e has done better than any of the other systems on the market is introduce people to tabletop gaming, and that's really not because of 5e. That's ostensibly mostly because of Let's Players and like Critical Role, right?
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and I think a lot of that was marketing. Like, Critical Role could have been just fine playing Pathfinder, but 5e really wanted them to, like, hey, try this out, and I think that was a good call. Absolutely. And I think 5e was simple enough that it really let people, like I said, low barrier to entry, really be able to jump into it. So on the whole, the community's still there. Everything's fine. It's just 5e. And 5e itself is fine as well. Like, I think 5e is a great system, but I'm probably not going to be supporting any of their new ventures unless they get their act together. Most champion, cleric, and summoner grab my curiosity most. Yeah, the champion is essentially the paladin class, and it's really fun. I really like it. I'm enjoying it. It's what I'm playing currently. I'm playing like 5 things, but the champion is a lot of fun. I really like it.
Yeah,
I've never.
After having looked at the ranger after you started playing one, I think that 2nd edition Pathfinder's iteration of the ranger is my favorite iteration of the ranger.
Yeah, it looks really good. It's a lot of fun. I didn't go in. It kind of removes a lot of the it leaves the hunter's mark kind of play style, but removes some of the like favored terrain stuff that people did have issue with, which I think was really smart. They're just like, these guys are really good at tracking and hunting. It's really cool. So I like that. I've never had a chance to do anything other tabletop RPGs other than D&D. Yeah, D&D is great. Like, once again, don't get me wrong, WotC and D&D need to be separated. I really think, like, I kind of hoped through the whole debacle that's been going on the last couple of months that Hasbro would just like give up and sell D&D, which was what they're kind of doing, right? They're putting a lot of it into the Creative Commons, which I don't like, but it's fine. Like, I think that'll be fine. So D&D isn't going away by any means. I have a question on how you envision a character. No need to draw it unless you want to. Explore, adventure, gemologist goblin that is being affected by the Underdark. How are they being affected? Because I think like is it mutating them for some reason, or are they just living in the Underdark?
I think goblins typically live in the Underdark, so the fact that it is a goblin is maybe proof that it has been affected by the Underdark. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you could do with that character. It'd be a lot of fun. But because you have like Sir Nivelin and stuff, so I assume they'd be pretty successful. I do know that in some of the Salvatore books, goblins and bugbears specifically are essentially just constantly captured and enslaved by the Drow. So they exist there somewhere in the lore.
Yeah,
but Someone should buy Wizards and make it better. I suggested that. I was like, if I win the lottery, because the lottery was bonkers like 2 weeks ago. It's like, if I win the lottery, I'll just buy WotC. And someone, I think it might have been Inferno, which is one of our longtime Discord and Patreon members, said like, what did he say? Be one of the worst financial decisions you'll ever make. And I was like, yeah, probably, but still.
Well, I mean, ostensibly, you wouldn't be making it because of financial reasons. You'd be making it because of personal, moral, and ethical reasons.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. Like, so WotC as a company is it's big. It's a big company, and so there's a lot of issues, even with Magic the Gathering, that the company is trying to be more successful after the big boom of 2020 and all the Backstreet Boys stuff. Like, they had this boom of people being interested because everyone was watching and playing online, and that's starting to fall off, and they're panicky. I think they just want to try to get like, we need to keep our profit revenues going in, and it's just like, I mean, this game is played by passion, like when people want to play it. So
and when people have time to play it.
Pumping out lots of books doesn't mean that there's interest for it, because the interest is based on like playing once a week. So it's interesting. Corrupting a goblin. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff you could do with that. You could really play with, like, the gemologist is the interesting part, because like if you want to corrupt a goblin into like a cloaker, or maybe like they get infected by spores, or Lolth finds them. Bitten by a Verguli. Like, I feel like the Underdark corrupting something kind of makes them more monstrous, which ostensibly is the opposite of being a gemologist, because if they were a gemologist, they would just be living with the Duragar, which are like world-renowned miners and gem cutters. So I feel like a goblin also going down there, and also slavers. Everyone in the Underdark is slavers. Yeah, it's awful. But you say minus titty gnomes? What?
Minus deep gnomes.
Deep gnomes, okay. I was like, what are titty gnomes?
You're down the gutter.
New drawing suggestion. Titty
gnome. But so, it's like I feel like you wouldn't have to change a goblin much. It would just be like, I live with the Duragar, right? And I deal with the drow. Different things like that. Or the mind flayers. If anything Wizards is going for money, should all go into minis and make more unique and colored minis. That's actually, so that's been a thing. I think they couldn't for a long time because of Game Workshop, which is why a lot of like third-party people make all of the figures.
Yeah. Because Games Workshop has traditionally been even worse than than WotC and Hasbro.
But yeah, a lot of the figures that were created were made not by WotC, and for like a long time before 3D printing and stuff, it was all pewter, and so like that was a big process, and they were expensive. But I bought, I still have some pewter dwarves and elves that I bought a long time ago. Now with the 3D printing, once again, it's like going into that is a huge market for like putting a lot of money into that for something that people can readily make themselves, so it doesn't make sense, which is why I think they're trying to corner the 3D model market. And I will absolutely bet they're either going to try to buy Hero Forge or something to that effect, get it licensed with them. So for D&D 1, they have that cornered as well. Because I think that's the best way to do that, right? All right, I've been talking too much. Rugby is drawn. I'm gonna draw some stuff now. Let's do that. Rolling a D12 today. If you have a suggestion for a character, please let me know and I'll put it on the list. I have a ton of character ideas, but they're all geared for 5e. I know you can report some ideas, but I'm not never had a real session of tabletop RPG, so I don't want to go towards that one. Yeah. Take a look at either the D&D Discords or Reddits or Pathfinders. Both Reddits and Discord have lots of places, or just head to a game shop and sit down and have fun.
Yeah,
Start with that human fighter. It's my favorite. I always go with the human fighter.
And like, if you're looking for other game styles, there are other games that may end up fitting your play style better. I'm a fan of Monster of the Week.
That's really
which
good.
is it's free. It's a 2d6 system instead of a d20 system.
I've seen a lot of people
it's-
do that more theater of the mind as well. Like that one's really
Yeah.
easy to play online without any peripherals.
Yeah, it's also really like that's the one that I go to play if I want to play like a modern horror teen slasher flick sort of setting, or like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer sort of setting.
I think that uses the Apocalypse, doesn't it? It's based off of the Apocalypse setting.
It's powered by the Apocalypse.
Yeah. Right, hello, happy Halloween.
I also like all of the systems based off of the Fate system, and Call of Cthulhu is just amazing. Although if you don't want to like get into all of the minutia of Call of Cthulhu, there's like an actual board game version of it called Mansions of Madness, which is really fun. Where like it comes with it comes with the maps for you and characters all laid out, and the computer takes care of puzzles and the story for you. The computer, it's all programmed so a computer GMs for you.
Everyone remember, D&D can technically be played with one player. It's also the DM sad but true. You could possibly add more members over time. I've done that. I've absolutely done that. There's an earth node in the Underdark that could morph your goblin. Ooh, that could be cool too, yeah. Like a rock goblin. Goblin. Bah, it's hard to say. I rolled an 11, which is a Tabaxi Fathom Warlock Pirate. So I'm going to draw that. And yeah, I've done that a handful of times. I've come up with campaign ideas or like puzzle rooms I wanted to try, and I didn't want to like ruin the surprise, so I would just grab my friends' characters and I would play it by myself. See how rolls and stuff add up, and see if like the test difficulty. And the first time I got back into D&D, because I played it a little bit when I was a kid. Like I played I think AD&D. I don't know if that counts as second edition or not. I did that, and I didn't play again until I was in college, and it was just me and my roommate. Like my roommate and I would just do like little tiny one-shot adventures with just my one character. So yeah, you can play. It's really easy.
My very first time GMing was with just me, and my second time was with just me and my brother.
Can I get a female wood elf with a bone spear or sword? Thanks. Sure, Alberto. Can do that. I'm gonna finish up this Tabaxi real quick, and then I will throw that on there. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. It's on the list.
The Whiz Kids. Which I used to think was owned by WotC for a longest time, but it's not.
WizKids? I don't know what that is.
They're a mini company.
Oh.
They make all the minis for Wizards and Pathfinder.
Funny.
And any other game that uses minis.
I buy
other Games Workshops.
Almost extensively from Bone Reaper for a long time. I think now I just I peruse minis at game shops and stuff. Like that's my little hobby. But so I probably have some WizKid figures. But man, Bone Reaper ones are great. 3D printers, man, change the world. Love it.
Minis and dice aren't really important for me. Although I totally respect the goblin hoarding of dice and minis.
I like to get a set of dice for a character. I think that's fun, and like it's a really low. I don't go to movies. I just don't go to movies. I don't like going to restaurants, which is, I mean, I used to a lot, but so like my when I play D&D, it's like, yeah, I can spend money on this. Like that's a fine thing for me to do. So I'll go to a comic book shop and buy like a $3 set of dice for a character. It's like, yeah, we're playing. I'm going to buy these dice and I'm only going to use them for this character. And then when I'm done, they go in the bucket. And so I just have a bucket of like retired dice that I use for just everything. I guess that one AI DM idea would appeal to those who want to play solo. I also just make characters on Hero Forge for brainstorming. Yeah, both great ideas. And I think that's fine. The whole AI Dungeon Master thing, I think, was one fake. I'm not sure on that, but yeah. But two, like that's not a new thing. That's called a video game. Like that's what Zork was, right? The difference being that Zork only had it had one path and then branching ways of dying. But yeah, procedural based RPGs are not new. And I think that's basically, you could absolutely make a successful AI-driven procedural game, and I think that would be really fun. It's just a matter of doing it in a way that is meaningful and useful, right?
Isn't that what Wilder Wind or whatever it's called?
Yeah, Wildermyth basically does the same thing. It's just it has a really small. It has probably one of the bigger pools I've seen for procedurally generated stories. And some of them are really bad, but it's a great proof of concept. Like, it is a great proof of concept. I think people are afraid, like, if you have an AI DM, like, that just gets rid of the dungeon master. And it's like, man, that's not how that works.
Yeah. Same thing with AI art.
Yeah, AI generated books, like you might get interesting stories from it, but like, that's not why people read books, right?
Yeah. You're not likely to get a Stephen King novel from that unless an AI has written all of Stephen King's works.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, yeah, which could happen, but in which case, like, it's still ostensibly Stephen King's work. Yeah.
World of Darkness, currently doing a game revamp, is a vampire, mage, werewolf, mummy, ghost hunter line of games. They are newbie friendly and easy to pick up. Nice. Fae, not far. Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. It's all their 5th edition stuff. It was kind of a revamping of.
That's awesome.
So it started a couple of years ago before all this, but.
I do remember reading something about that, about the World of Darkness. Like, I didn't know if it went free or if it's just they just decoupled it.
I think they decoupled it from White Wolf,
okay,
which is a Swedish gaming company.
I'm gonna make this a really shaggy cat pirate.
It was, they kind of like one part rebranding and kind of revamping it because there's a lot of just really bad, outdated writing that wouldn't fly for a lot of reasons these days.
Yeah.
So they're trying to revitalize it, I guess is the term.
Yeah. I'm okay with that kind of stuff. I think that's important. Like, there's people on both sides, but I think that's my big thing. Is like, if something doesn't work anymore because of, popular opinion or
politics or morality,
like, it's fine to rewrite it,
Yeah.
Like, that's like the stories need to change as culture and perception, public perception, yeah. Which I feel is, and this is as political as I'm gonna get with it, but like I think that's one of my main gripes about organized religion is a lot of them don't change, right? They're just like, no, this is correct. It's like, that is so old that I don't think we should take it as gospel, like, no pun intended.
Yeah. Like, especially since it also doesn't really matter. I
didn't want to go into it. I didn't want to go into it. I just wanted to post it. But like that's, I think that's specifically with 5e. Like, I think that's people's fear, right? They're like, oh, WotC's destroyed 5e. It's like 5e has not changed. Like, if you want to change something about it, do that. Like, it's okay to change that stuff. So sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. We could pander about that for hours, and I don't want to do that.
That's fair. Fair, and it's fine. And you have every right to cut me off at the head there.
It is your stream, Rook.
I get to take the hot takes. I'm the one who hot takes. God, I want pizza now. All right. What kind of pirate thing?
Too early to talk about food.
Yeah. Pet the boy. The boy is over here and he's drugged up. He's doing better though, I think. He didn't want to eat yesterday, and I was worried about it, but he's eating now. He's fine. So I don't know if he just didn't feel good yesterday or what. But Scoop Cat is back. Healing up. He is had his dentist stuff. Still waiting to hear back on his lab work, but I think he's doing okay. Yes.
There's another suggestion in the chat.
Oh, I missed the suggestion. Oh yeah. I'm checking with him, by the way. Dark Kitty, Cloud, Leopard, Tabaxi, College of Swords, Bard. Did you suggest one on Wednesday? I can't remember. You only get one a week, but if you haven't, I will put it on the list for sure. Okay, remember only one character. Yeah. Go for the hot takes to the hot steaks. Gotta get them hot steaks. All right, so I want this to be a pirate. I've given him an earring, which I don't know if that's fair or not.
Also a
Fathom Warlock. Yeah. I'm thinking, do the Fathom Warlocks have web sword things? Can't remember.
They like summon like tentacles.
Tentacles.
To, like attack people.
Yeah, okay. Not inherently a hexblade though, right? Like this, I thought it's not a.
No, so the hexblade is a unique patron.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I want like giant poofy cheeked tomcat. Tomcat pirate. Maybe I'll give him a.
One nasty grayed out eye.
Yeah. I think I could have gone a little rounder on the head. And ears look a little almost rat-like. Deep Cat, what's your ears look like? Okay. He's not a big tomcat. Rounder, yeah. There we go. That's better. I was going to play this character as a melee warlock. Nice. Okay, I'll give him a big cutlass. Why not? Maybe I'll give him like a neckerchief. Feels like something a sailor would have. I remember looking this up once about why they had the little neck scarves. I can't remember what it was. Something about smoke? Smoke or tar? I don't remember. Maybe I should give him a big old fish hook. Can't remember what those are called. It's like a boom, jib.
Gaff hook?
Could be a gaff hook. Give him big old toe beans. Big old poofy sleeves. A secret people don't know about me is I hate poofy sleeves.
secret everybody knows about me is I hate sleeves and shirts in general.
It's true. Oh snap! This is live. Nice. Yeah. Love the draw.
The other format. Yeah. Yeah, we do every Wednesday and Thursday, or Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Friday we do the free draw. If people want to draw with us, they're very welcome to, as long as they can follow the rules of the Discord. And they're okay with their stuff being posted on YouTube. There's a link in the Discord. Feel free to join the Discord. Hang out with us. We are in the Discord chat, but we do I have that reserved for just a handful of mods and stuff to keep me from losing my mind.
Talking into the void.
Yeah.
We don't always succeed at keeping you from losing your mind, but sometimes.
I mean, the first year we did this, it was bad. Like, not like, well, maybe it was bad quality, but it was pandemonium.
Times when we would have like almost 50 people in the chat and just yelling at Rook.
I think the
Everybody
most,
talking over.
yeah, the most we've ever had was like 9 or 10, but that was too much. That was way too much.
Yeah, all things considered, it's maybe a little bit of a miracle that I actually stuck around long enough to become as good of friends with you as we are.
It's kind of a weird situation.
The internet that has made friendships weird anyway, so it's fine.
Sure.
Look, friendships were weird before the internet. Now that's just the internet just expedites the process. That's all.
We're carefree, but the crew he has is under a king to hunt other pirates. Oh, okay. So he's a pirate hunting pirate.
So he's not a pirate. He's a sailor.
What's the term? There's a term.
Privateer?
Maybe it could be a
Privateer?
privateer. Privateer? Yeah, it could be a privateer.
I'll see if I can set up my hero on and join. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. You'll never make jokes about a navigator or a helmsman again after friendly jokes.
Even friendly jokes. Interesting. Okay, I think I'm going to call this one here, so I'm not sure what else to do. I didn't do the tentacles yet. We need to add some tentacles in here. He's got worms. Did you know that the big poofy cheeks on cats is based on testosterone?
I did not know that.
They're called shoot. They are specifically designed so that if you get bit in the face, it doesn't hurt as much. I mean, like I say designed, but like evolved. So if you have a cat with big old poonchy cheeks, they most likely didn't get neutered early enough in life.
And so now they're built for cat fighting.
They're built for
Territory disputes
Yep.
and mating disputes.
Big old beefy cat cheeks. Need one of my biologists to figure out what that was called because I don't remember. But they have a primordial pooch, which is the old cat wobble. That's also designed for self-defense. So if you get kicked in the giblets, it doesn't beat up your organs.
He forgot his sword. Oh no, yeah.
Is he supposed to have a sword? I'm sorry.
Another question. In 5e late game, marshals starts to lose their value against high-level casters. Is marshal and casters disbalance less notable with Pathfinder 2nd Edition?
Yeah, I think so.
We haven't gotten to high level yet in our game, so not sure, but I also think so.
Yeah, can't confirm, but they've been better at Pathfinder 1 also had that kind of issue where martial classes are, I would say it's less that they lose their potency and more that they're geared for earlier game because they are less dependent on spell slots. The upside or a way to counteract that is as wizards gain more spell slots, you need to be upgrading martial classes gear. And 5e is kind of not great at that. Because they scaled it so weird.
Yeah, 5e is abysmal when it comes to magic items and magic item accessibility.
Yeah. And a good example of that is the way 3.5 in Pathfinder works. Essentially, your weapons have an upgrade +1 to +5, and then in each of those classes, you can have up to, I think, 5 enchantment levels on it. And so you can basically incrementally, like, here's a +1 weapon, here's a +1 weapon with fire, here's a +1 weapon with fire bursting. So you can incrementally balance your characters that way, whereas 5e is just like, we have +1 to +3 weapons. And it's like, so a +1 weapon is technically a level 4.5, 5-ish thing? Like, it doesn't feel as good. But technically you should be upgrading weapons every time new spell slots are introduced to a character, would be introduced to like a wizard character. So something to think about.
Another thing that 2nd edition Pathfinder has done is it's like if you look at casting classes, you will see this. Magic is way more restrictive. Like for example, preparation spellcasters, like you don't have a different, like, you can only prepare the number of spells as spell slots you have, and you have to, like, the spells that you prepare in the day are the only spells that you have. It's different from 5e in that preparation spellcasters can swap out cantrips for any cantrips on their list. But other than that, spell casting is way more restrictive. So 2nd edition Pathfinder kind of plays like a little bit more, like a little bit lower fantasy, at least in terms of access to magic. And that lower accessibility to magic, I think, translates into keeping. It's part of the balance of keeping martials relevant throughout the entire game.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. The Pathfinder also has, like, a lot more spells and a lot more interesting spells, in my opinion. So you kind of run into this catch-22 of, like, fewer spells, like less access to the ability to cast spells, but more interesting spells. So you do need to, like, if you're going to GM for a 2nd edition Pathfinder game, you do need to be aware of that kind of limitation and make sure that your casters have enough information about what they're getting into in order to prepare spells that are actually going to be useful.
That's a good way to look at it too. I think you can do the same thing with weapons though, because, like, I've run into situations where rogues and fighters will go into a situation unprepared and, like, oh, cool, I can't do any damage. Neat. Like, they just kind of check out, right? So I think that is
absolutely.
I think a big thing that can aid in why are these things so imbalanced is really, dungeon planning and on the DM to do that, because there are some things you can do even with, like, if you don't plan a combat action correctly, anyone with a bow is just massively overpowered. Or if your party can't deal with ranged, then putting enemies with bows against them is just, it's a huge power creep, right? Like, you have to balance those things regardless. So a big part of it, if you feel like your character is running into issues with like, oh, my character's not as powerful anymore, it's like, are you just, like, finally hitting the curve? Like, or do you actually need something to boost your character's power level? And that's just something to deal with. My DM added a deck of many things. It's hilarious. It can be fun, yeah. And if that's the kind of game you're playing, like, I really like them. But I think, once again, that's kind of on the DM to make sure that they're going through some of the best,
For the chaos.
some of the best like treasure I've ever given to players have been like randomized loot tables. Just like, roll me a die, we'll use the loot table in the book and see what happens. And we've come up with some really funny stuff, and we've come up with a whole bunch of garbage. So like,
you know, it's hit or miss. I like what kind of haircuts or pedicures are set for those. Whoa. If a tabaxi has worms, okay, is that solved with a vet doctor or a cleric? Depends on your universe, but
technically it's a parasite, so does that count as a disease? That's up to your DM.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I believe maybe this was only in first edition Pathfinder. I'm not sure about the wording on the spell Lesser Restoration specifically, but I believe it pushes out anything that's not supposed to be there, which includes exorcising spirits that are trying to possess you, and ostensibly getting rid of diseases and parasites.
It's undead worms, and you could cast Turn Undead, and they'll flee the body.
That sounds like a horrible moment of purging.
Yeah.
Vomiting.
Thanks for that. Ugh.
Vomiting undead worms. Ugh. I'm gonna cast Lesser Restoration on you. Where's the bathroom? I like the idea that elves just have super long hair because they're so old.
'80s movie Conan. Lucked out with Gravesword? That Gravesword. The rolled encounter GM planned. Okay, gotcha. As a DM for 4 years, I'm rebalancing Martial by introducing arcane and supernatural splits in my classes.
Welcome to 4th edition, baby.
So,
I mean, 4th edition was a hot mess for a number of reasons, but like if that's what you want, go for it. Like it had some pretty fun encounters. They're just really long and complicated because it was essentially them like, what if video games? It's like, yeah, don't do that.
4th edition, by the way, is also the last time that Wizards tried to revoke the OGL or publish something without the OGL, I suppose.
Deck of Manly Things. Oh, I misread it. I'm sorry.
Deck of Manly Things sounds pretty good too.
Reminds me of what's that really funny little 8-bit shoot 'em up game, Bro something.
Oh, Broforce? Broforce is great.
Broforce, yeah. Oh, I love Broforce.
Broforce is awesome.
So funny.
I'm not gonna lie, I want to at least try to play one session of 4th edition before I die in my life. Just for the experience. It's like,
I mean, it is a D&D. It's just World of Warcraft for the tabletop RPG. So like, it's fun. I played it. It was just as good as anything else, but it just wasn't widely received because it's a different play style than most. And to be honest, like, what happened was my friends and I played it for, I don't know, we played a few sessions. We were having fun with it. And then we were like, why aren't we just playing World of Warcraft? And so that's what we did. We just switched over and played World of Warcraft again.
I don't have World of Warcraft, so.
Yeah, 4th edition is a great way to do that.
Break out a shaman.
Yeah. Shaman was hell of fun. I had a bear that could heal people by punching them. It was great.
Where bear you came from?
Actually, that predated the barbarian, but long story short, I like bears. Bears are fun characters. Blah.
Yeah, I had a friend who had like several of their player handbooks and like expansion books that he got from like half-price books.
Yeah, if you can get them, they're good. The art's good. It has some interesting stuff because of the way they were trying to build it out. So basically, in 4th edition, magic was just rampant. Like everybody had some kind of magical ability, which I think is where the idea of like second wind came from. For the fighters, I don't know if that existed in 3.5. What was it in 3.5? Wave of Mercy Bear.
No, but 5e
It might have been Godless Healing.
Because in 1st edition Pathfinder, at least I don't know about 3.5, but in 1st edition Pathfinder, I think Godless Healing was once a day temporarily recover some HP.
Yeah, because like 3.5 didn't have the short rest. It was just resting or charges of things.
Yeah.
Which is why like the short rest system worked really well. But that came from 4th edition of having like, once per combat, once per encounter, once per day, once per hour. Like it was really complicated.
Yeah.
But
so looking at it, yeah, it was a 4th edition thing. Because I know a lot of people wanted Wizards to bring back the Warlord class early on in 5th edition, because it was kind of a fan favorite, oddly enough. But the thing is, they're not, and actually most of the abilities of the Warlord got folded into the Battlemaster fighter.
Yeah.
So. Because it was back when they still had a leader role in campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really liked that idea of a leader role conceptually.
I think you can still implement that stuff.
Yeah. I have, not to great effect, because I've never played 4th edition. I haven't really seen it done. I've just kind of been pulling it out of my ass, but
yeah, I really like the thing I like most about it is like the teamwork feats. I think that also kind of spawned from the same idea of just battle tactics, right? Having someone that can give boons to the party by suggesting, I think is something that's really missing. Which the fighter like kind of can do that, right? Like okay, I'm going to give you more defense. Okay, I'm going to give you advantage. Like I like that idea. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I had an idea.
I never really.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just reading.
Okay, I never managed to get anybody to play with teamwork feats with me in Pathfinder.
Yeah. I think Jump Rope and I were probably the first time I ever got that to work. Like having time to like sit down and plan something with somebody can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I kept trying, but nobody at my table would, and then somebody built a character with an animal companion in a campaign, and they kept giving their animal companion all of the companion feats, or all of the teamwork feats that I had been trying to get people to play with me, and I was just like, well, you know what, fuck you. It was a little bit frustrating. Oh well.
I don't have enough resolution for what I want to do for this face.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I'm finally done with this little Myconid playing a clarinet.
Angry duding.
Prepare the dude. Prepare for duding, I think, is one of my favorite bard quotes.
I think my favorite is, we need cover. What do we do? Hide behind the pile of dead bards. Gosh, what was that from? Oh, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
That made me think of a Penny Arcade comic from years ago from what was it? Ninja Gaiden. Because Ninja Gaiden had a whole bunch of like you'd walk into a dojo room because the whole game was set in like consecutive dojo rooms. That's not true, but that's the first part of it. And they'd like throw 3 ninjas at you and you'd murder them, and then the same door would open and 3 more ninjas would come out, and you'd murder them, and then the same door would open and like 1 differently colored ninja would come out and you'd murder him, and then the door would open and you could leave. And so the Penny Arcade comic was just like, all right, this guy's killed 200 men, but I have faith in you. Go, get him. And he'd send the guys to the door, and you'd hear like the, Hah! And then he'd grab like, all right, that guy, I had no faith in him, but you, I have faith in you. You can get this guy. And it's just like, that's video game logic right there. Just keep throwing guys at him. It'll happen. I had an idea for a Black Dragon 6, Shadow Sorcerer 14, Ascendant Dragon Monk. Okay. You're giving them 6 levels of Black Dragon, or 6 levels of Shadow Sorcerer, and they are a Black Dragon. Shadow Dragon vibe. It had mad. It is mad, but I had to figure it would be really fun, even if it's not the most viable in 5e. Any 20 level character in 5e is going to be bonkers. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, that sounds fun. The thing about dragons, which I'm totally down for letting people play dragons, is to remember that like if you're using stats from the book, they usually have monster levels. So technically, I think you, depending on how you do that, I might suggest starting with a Dragonborn and then introducing dragon feats through the leveling process. But if you're starting at level 20, yeah, do whatever you want. Sounds great. I have no problem with that. All right.
How would you do that? Let's see. How would I do that in Pathfinder? Maybe start with a lizard folk and do a half dragon bloodline.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, the thing with taking the ancient dragon and ascendant dragon monk, Dragonborn, but I would be too busy typing to notice the error. Okay, that makes way more sense then. Yeah, so if you're doing the ascendant dragon monk, you're probably going to be getting those dragon features anyways. But the Shadow Sorcerer would be really fun. Really fun addition for a Dragonborn monk.
What am I rolling?
A D12.
D12, okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. Finish your...
No, that was it.
Okay. An 8.
8. What do we got?
Oh, what do we got? I have not been looking at the Discord. I'm so sorry. But I didn't check that real quick. Homing check-in. Deck of manly things is just a deck. Tools and Texas-style barbecue. Nice. I like it. Okay. And you rolled an 8. Swamp Billy, Thry-Green Banjo Bard. That's a really good one.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to say that again.
A Swamp Billy, which might be an inappropriate term, but I don't care.
Okay.
Thry-Green Banjo Bard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Agent Sour Cream.
Did you say Asian sour cream? I can't hear you today for some reason. I'm so sorry.
You cut out a little bit.
I said Cajun Thry-Cream.
That sounds way better than Asian sour cream. So are you ordering a sandwich? What's happening? What's going on here? Titty Gnomes is still my favorite.
I just give up.
I don't know what it is. It's you're a little garbled today, and I'm not sure if it's me or you, but
It's probably me and my shoddy Wi-Fi.
So just to be clear, I'm doing Fuzzy Lumpkin from Powerpuff Girls, but Thry-Cream.
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't that a bear? Isn't Fuzzy Lumpkin a bear?
Yeah.
He's a hillbilly bear with a banjo?
He is a hillbilly pink bear with bug antenna.
Gotcha.
And a banjo. Who yells at everybody to get off my property.
You know what? Those Powerpuff Girls should get off his property. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. up until the point where he accidentally ended up in the city of Townsville's park and started attacking people for being on his property.
Well, once everything's your property, you know, people gotta have a place to go. Fuzzy Lumpkin. Oh boy, this face is just not good. Let's try again.
So I need a bug to base this off of from the Florida Everglades. Maybe giant water bug?
I was gonna say mosquitoes.
I was thinking of like a crawdad.
Crawdad would be pretty good for a Thry Queen.
Crawdad would be hilarious. Yeah. Stupid little freshwater lobsters.
Delicious freshwater lobsters.
Probably just because of where I live, but I've never had a crawdad that didn't taste like mud.
Well, they do live in the mud, so.
Yeah. Gotta clean those, right?
Yeah, you gotta like leave them in like a bucket of fresh water.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a tub of fresh water.
I had a white dragonborn fighter called Boris de Winter.
Boreas
Boreas?
de Winter, I think.
He's the Prince of Eternia, the Snow Kingdom.
Isn't Eternia where She-Ra lives? Or He-Man lives?
I think you might be right.
Okay, I think that is my Wood Elf fighter. With a bone spear. Give her a little texture here.
Need to watch Vox Machina later.
Oh, was the new episodes out?
Yep.
Hell yeah. All right, cool. I'm gonna roll the dice. What are we doing next? A 9. A lizard folk javelin thrower. That sounds pretty awesome.
Character after your own heart, bro.
Yeah. You know, I'm slowly coming over to the javelins. Spears are great. But, you know, sometimes you just need that javelin range.
Do javelins get a longer range than spears?
I believe so.
They should, for the simple fact that they're generally lighter.
Yeah.
I mean, they're meant to be thrown.
Yeah.
Whereas spears, I think spears have the thrown.
Special quality.
Yeah. Whereas javelins are ranged weapons.
Yeah, I've only ever known of javelins being used as a ranged.
Right. I don't know if they have the melee.
In first edition Pathfinder, I know that they did. So I would assume that in second edition they do as well. I haven't looked at them for 5e.
I had to get both.
Yeah, for most video games, I think that spear is hand is melee combat and javelin is thrown. Though I also think that in Conan Exiles you can use a javelin for both, but not the spear. No.
It looks like it only has the thrown property in 5th edition. So.
I can tell you right now, javelins are sticks. They're not great sticks. How'd RPG? Hello, hello. How are you today? I'm doing well. See if I can give you a shout out. I really need to get a better system for shouting out.
One of my favorite druid spells in first edition Pathfinder was a spell called Thorn Javelin, which the first level spell, it lets you summon a thorn javelin. Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
But you can use it in melee, or you can throw it, and it acts like a weapon with returning quality. But it's amazing because it makes its target sickened if they fail a saving throw.
Interesting. That's an interesting way to have something thorns related to. I guess it poisons them, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no problem. How to RPG. How are things going on your channel? Sorry, Drew, to jump in there.
No, you're good. You're good. My only other explanation for it would be that it's basically a giant needle, and people hate needles. But
trying to think of I guess so poison ivy is a plant that has a toxic property, but
yes,
it's not thorny, right? Having thorns and being toxic are usually separate instances.
Correct.
So cactuses aren't usually toxic, but
unless you eat the flesh.
Right, that's different. But actually it's not.
Yeah.
There's two different mechanisms, I guess, is where we're going with it. So.
And well, most cacti that are poisonous to eat aren't they aren't poisonous to eat because that's an active effect. They're poisonous to eat because it's because they
alkalines, I believe.
Yeah, but it's chemicals designed to help them retain water primarily, and then I'm not saying that there aren't some that don't develop that as a secondary, like poison as a secondary defense. But like for the most part, it is my understanding that cacti generally are bad to eat, not because they appear to be intentionally poisonous, but because they're trying to chemically hold on to water as long as possible.
Yeah.
Point being, thorn vines, I think. I'm interested in why it would cause sickening. That's interesting. I would think bleed. I would think it would cause like a bleed effect.
Yeah, I would think so as well, but I don't know.
Yeah, weird.
It's a fun spell, though.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm stripping all the Wizards of the Coast art from my live stream slides. Need to replace a lot of pictures and art or use photos. Yeah, that's good. I mean, like, I'm glad you're making a decision like that. To try to like take a stance on things is nice. A good way to remember whether it's venomous or poisonous. Did it bite it poisonous? Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, I have that thing stuck in my head. It's venomous or poisonous. Did you bite the poisonous?
Did it bite you? It's venomous. And if you bite each other and nobody dies, it's kinky. If it bites you and you die, it's venomous. If you bite it and it dies, wait, I screwed that up already. Then you're venomous. That's what it is. If you bite it and you die, it's poisonous. And if you bite it and nobody dies, it's kinky. That's the joke. This guy looks super chill. And I'll get to why that is in a minute here. I really wanted to throw javelins in high school. They wouldn't let me.
Why?
I went to a poor, shitty school that didn't have enough space for javelin throwing. Yeah, javelins are not constructed in a way that they make good thrusting weapons. Really, they got about a foot of hard pointy bit, and then the rest is just very flimsy. So they're great for throwing, but if you whack them on something, they snap real bad. I got to use some. I had a friend that was Amp Guard still uses foam weapons, I think. So he did a whole bunch of like Ren Fair historical reenactment fighting. So it was like choreographed fighting. But because of that, he also had like a whole bunch of real weapons. And a lot of the javelins that he had were heavy doweled spears with basically a metal prong on the end. Like that's what a lot of javelins were as well. It's just like broomstick with pointy bit. You only ever threw them once. like when you throw them, they kind of break. So
no, they are very much designed. I mean, unless you're talking about cultures that use like an atlatl, but even then, like they're mostly they're ammunition, not
correct. Yeah.
Weapons,
right? So depending on how you're looking at it, like you can throw a spear, absolutely. Like hunting spears are a thing. But the range is going to be shorter because as soon as you start designing for aerodynamics, they get weaker. So that's why I think I'm totally fine with javelins being ammo. I think that's a good way to think about it versus a spear, which can be thrown. Because like a sword can be thrown, maybe not with great effect, but you can throw things. I don't want to yeet impaling instruments around hormonal teens. Yeah, that was kind of their thought too. So I didn't get to do that. I didn't get to throw javelins. There was one javelin at my school. It's funny. The Romans used the ones with the long metal points. It would have bent when it hits you, so you can't throw it back. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, they specifically had like lead points, right?
I have no idea about that.
So that they would because lead is so soft and fairly cheap. And also heavy. Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
I was just saying they probably went with more because of cheapness to outfit the legions. Oh,
Yeah, I buy it.
also, javelins are classified as darts in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So.
Yeah. Really big darts.
Yep. So I hate to bring this back up, but Wizards is backing off from the OGL.
Like they're backing off from what they said they were going to change, or they're just not going to use the OGL anymore.
They are not changing anything. They're keeping it in place.
Oh, good.
I still don't trust them.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's just like, I don't know what that changes.
I
But...
am going to trust them. So
That's good news for everybody who still wants to play air quotes official D&D, but I was ready to make the switch to Pathfinder before all this happened, so it honestly doesn't change anything for me. Bridge burned.
Yep, that's fine.
Too little, too late. I don't expect anybody else to be the same way, but
well, it's just I follow a lot of people who were making content for 5th edition, and so
Casually
Yeah.
poisons the
they've all
chat.
been expressing a great big sigh of relief.
Yeah, I mean that's true. There's a lot of people that I think the biggest issue with a lot of that was WotC trying to put their hand in other people's cookie jars. That might not be the right way to say it, but
trying to grab what they assumed was their fair share from
and a lot of
other
people would have
Right.
been, only a handful of people would have really been affected by it, but like it would have been devastating for those people. So
and it would have been devastating for the community who like relies on those people to help them understand how to play or find inspiration for characters.
yeah, I'm saddened by there was such a big push for I'll make my own game. Then like I don't want to ever discourage someone from doing that, right? Like I want more creative stuff out in the field, but like I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of great content that is either going to get pushed off or just completely shifted now because of that. And that was the biggest thing I was worried about. It's like there's going to be so many Kobold Press things that they just get rid of because it's like, yeah, it's not worth dealing through, which they kind of have already dealt with that stuff. But yeah, I mean, having a free and open space to create content is huge. It's huge in this community. So whether or not it's financially changing the way you work, like this was, it was a breach of trust, and I think that's rough. And I hope people don't shade away from it and think they have to make their new games, because it's like there's so much content out there already that I want it to be viable for 5e and 3.5 and Pathfinder to continue. So.
I know people who are working on stuff and they would not been able to publish on the old OGL, and so they would have to do it on the new one. But now they're getting rid of that and letting people keep 1.0A.
Yeah, I will not trust WotC over the OGL ever again. Many YouTubers creators I know are making permanent shifts away from 5e, but particularly 1D&D. Yeah, and that's I think that's a fair response, right? It's like if you guys are even going to hint at maybe getting rid of our main focus, then just don't trust them with it. And I think that the real kind of proof in the pudding is Critical Role kind of saw this coming as well and already took those steps and were already distancing themselves. So I don't think that's improper. I think it's an absolutely reasonable response, and that's WotC's fault. That's
it's
the repercussions of that.
Yeah, it is also their fault that they waited maybe too long to walk it back all the way. I think that with when Paizo announced that they were funding the creation of the Orc license, that was kind of the point of no return for WotC, right? So
yeah, and to be fair, once again, like even in that statement they were saying with second edition, they're like, we don't need this. We don't need, right? So this really was, I do think it was WotC's attempt to try to reinforce. They're like, you guys need us. And it's like, we don't.
Yep. So, everybody collectively was like, nope, fuck you.
So yeah, I respect, and I think the choices that people are making, like removing all of your content, How to RPG is legitimate, and I have no suggestions or like pleas for you to not do that. I think it's a completely reasonable response. I do hope that 5e isn't stained by it. That's the thing that I think, because that's the thing I'm most worried about, is people moving away from 5th edition, because it is one thing to say, WotC did something bad, but like 5e was a good system for introducing people to tabletop RPGs, and so it's like I will still use it. Like, right, I'm not going to burn my books. I'm not gonna do anything in the way of trying to say 5e should not exist anymore. But I probably won't be buying any of the. I have no plans on really moving into D&D 1, right? Or whatever the hell they're calling it. Especially the digital format. It's like I have Foundry right now, so unless they do like a huge shift or like date back content and like, hey, we're going to let you use all of the old stuff in D&D 1, I have no reason to use it right now. So plus Pathfinder, I've been wanting to get into Pathfinder, but with everybody loving D&D so much, it's hard for me to do that. And now I think this is a great time to start looking at some of the other ones, and I think people will have a good time to explore those. So, is this still live? I just heard my comment from half an hour ago get read again. You might have accidentally backed up. I don't think I've reread your comment, because while it's live, you can still like rewind it and not watch it live. So you might hit that live button to catch back up. You might not hear this for another 30 minutes if that's the case. So
who knows?
We'll find out. Paizo saw this coming years ago, which is part of why the 2 exists. Yep. Yeah. And Paizo was created because of the first time they tried to do this. So like, yeah. Like I said, I really love the Paizo guys. And I'm excited for them to get a little more attention.
Yeah,
because a lot of people just see Pathfinder as like, oh, it's just overly complicated D&D, and it's like, yeah, but it's on purpose. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, I definitely totally understand where a lot of the content creators are coming from, and I respect that, and I will back them up for it for sure. And I hope that 5e can still be seen as something that was grand and beautiful and help people get into the game. Even though it's kind of, it's got that taint of WotC being the thing that was important that WotC tried to destroy. It's like, guys, come on. Same thing with Magic the Gathering. I love Magic the Gathering, but like Hasbro, it's the same company. They're doing the same thing with Magic, and it's like, guys, you gotta knock this shit off. But
chill the fuck out. Just like, you don't have to increase your revenue every single year. It's not really feasible to do that.
Just corporate bullshit. I remember years ago, the thing that I always loved about Magic the Gathering was the art, right? The art and the storytelling on it. And then it came out that they weren't paying the artists. And I was like, excuse me? Boycott Magic. And that happened. Like, people yelled and screamed, and then the artists started getting paid more, and now all of a sudden we have full card art, and they really took a new stance on promoting the artists, because like as a company they just didn't realize that that's what people loved about it. I was like, yeah, the art's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I will confess, I look at a lot of Magic the Gathering cards because I love the art. It's not enough to get me to want to play.
Yeah, that's fine.
But especially after my brother, who does play, explained to me what an Eldrazi card is and what it does.
I wanted to talk about that so bad. The Eldrazi are great. It's the stupidest mechanic, and I honestly stopped playing Magic when they introduced them because it broke the game. But like, the concept behind them are really cool because they're the extensions of these extraplanar beings trying to pass through our third dimensional world, which is awesome. And the Phyraxians are amazing as well. They had a really cool... I've always wondered why all the Phyraxians look like weird skeletons, and supposedly it's because as they're shifting through the different planes of magic, normal creatures can't do that. Only the planeswalkers can, which is why they're planeswalkers. Apparently the Phyraxians are like, yeah, we don't care, we're just gonna shove people through and then invade that world. But every time they do that, they like lose all their skin, and that's why they're all skeletons. I'm like, that is super metal and awesome, and I love that storytelling, and I never would have put that together just by reading the cards. So that's awesome. There's a ton of cool stuff that Magic does with their storytelling and their art, and some of it's really subtle and some of it's really stupid. So you know, it is what it is. I could have gained a massive marketing if their in-house VTT was good, but they just had a light entire community on fire. D&D and all the spells are for combat. Pathfinder 2, the spells that make you a hot tub. There are a lot of D&D. I mean, a lot of the Pathfinder spells are based off of D&D spells. I think I know where you're coming from, and that was one of the things with 5e that I've bumped into a lot. People, especially playing like clerics, and if you really like dig into a lot of the wizardry schools, that people will be like, oh, like only 2 of these spells are good. Like the same thing with the warlock, right? Like everybody takes Eldritch Blast.
Yep.
Because it is so simple, people can easily optimize, and so it really feels like there's only one path. But yeah. Then struggling with the VTD was big, and when they bought Brain, D&D Beyond, like that for me was like, oh, here we go. Something's gonna happen. There's a lot of tabletop role-playing game systems being created right now, including D&D clones, new systems, and D&D 5e clones, but by YouTubers and publishers. Yeah, and that's kind of my fear, is that there's now going to be a saturation of conflicting things, which I'm never opposed to having more content, right? Like, I think it's great that people are trying to do that. I don't want to discourage them in any way, but I really do hope that people realize, like, the D&D system is still good. It's just not something that you can publish, right? Or at least, like, that's the fear. Like, so it's one thing to need to create something, or can you create content that is not necessarily attached but works for 5e, and that's a huge legal gray area, right? So if you are publishing, it makes sense to make your own campaign. That's great, but at the same time, you know, fan art and third-party content is always going to be more connected to the community because more people are already on there. And so that's why this was all the big. That was the whole thing about the big debacle, was, you know, you're taking away that from people, and I hope that the community can stay cohesive enough that it doesn't lose some of its best writers because they're scared that their content won't be publishable. And we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, you know, like I said, I'll keep 5e as a way to introduce people, but I'm not sure where I'll go moving forward besides Pathfinder. Probably some guys write some good stories too, so I'm happy about that. I've had friends making tabletop games for years and years and years, and most of them get made and then no one ever plays them because they're too obscure, or they change too many things, or they find a niche following. And so it's like 5e was good because it was simple. Make something simple. Find people to play it. that's the biggest advice I can give to people. But I'm totally fine with 5e clones. And I've always been loose on the rules anyways, because like Pathfinder and 3.5 and 5e, it's like, it's close enough. Just make it work. Like, everything can be homebrewed. And some people really like having like very set out rules, but I like things being a little vague sometimes. Maybe I should start a series of like how to dissect D&D. Really try to explain the mechanics of that stuff. Why is the DC the way it is? How big of a damage die should you use? Okay, there is my javelin. Javelin lizard. What time is it? 12:30? Yeah, I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna roll some dice. For those of you that are just hanging out and haven't been in here for Friday streams, I have a list of viewer suggested characters. I'm gonna roll the dice and we're gonna draw whatever pops up. So if you have a character you'd like to see drawn, just let me know in the chat and I'll add it to the list. Tunnel and Trolls, Deathbringer, Pathfinder, and a few others use much of the D&D or D&D 5e mechanics. Yeah, and I know for sure Pathfinder is based on the old OGL for 3.5, and they have since revamped it for 2nd edition, so it's different. I really like 2nd edition's 3-point action economy. I highly suggest people check that out, even if like you don't plan on playing it. I might start implementing some of that in some of my 5e games too, because it's really clean, really nice.
It's better. It is actually simpler than 5e's action economy.
Yeah. I like rules, me. Everyone. I like rules, me. Oh, you want water-themed barbarians? Let me homebrew Path of the Serpent Barbarian. Yeah, why not? There's enough. Like, you can fiddle so much with just everything. Like, you can make things fit in weird ways for all kinds of fun things. Like, even like adding magic to barbarians is really easy. Like, the Path of the Beast Barbarian is essentially a magical barbarian. You just have to, instead of getting claws, you get a level 1 spell. Go for it. It's great. 4. Snake barbarians aren't real. They can't hurt you. Oh, they are real. Go check it. I freaking love the monstrous Yuan-ti snake. It's a man snake with snake for arms. I heard you like snakes, so I put snakes on your snakes. A half-orc ogre, hexblade warlock, polearm master with tusks and shield. Half-orc, half-ogre, hexblade warlock. Is that a thing? I feel like I've drawn one of those every week. And maybe it's the same person suggesting them, but like, is a half-orc, half-ogre, like, I guess Rexar from World of Warcraft is one of those. Is that a race that I don't know about?
I don't think so. I don't think officially. I think you can build it.
I've tuned out for a while. That's alright. It happens. I would love to see a turkey vulture Kenku. Wildfire druid with a raccoon companion. Sure, put it on the list. Put it on the list.
If it was a thing, it'd probably be from 3.5, because there are half ogres.
Mm-hmm.
But they're generally like offspring of human and ogre.
Can never tell if people are just trying to make Shrek. I've never been a big ogre fan because I feel like they just are big orcs. I like the two-headed ogres. I like that idea.
The Ettins?
Yeah. But that's the thing, like an ogre to me has always been kind of like, is it a giant? Is it a troll?
Yeah, where does it fit?
And I really like the
convergent evolution.
Yep.
Well, they are giants. They are a type of giant, so. And so are trolls. They're like, they're cousins. Their ancestor moms cheated on her husband and made ogres and trolls.
Oh, all right.
According to which specific lore?
I think we
D&D's lore.
Yeah. I think we have talked about that before. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Their goddess mother, because all giants are kind of related to each other. Like, their ancestors were brothers and sisters. And their mom basically had an affair with a demon? some other type of giant monstrous person, and out popped up trolls, ettins, and ogres.
Just never know where to put them.
Deserts.
Desert ogres. Okay, I can buy that. Is a cyclops an ogre or a giant?
I think they're also giants.
Is anyone else always confused about orcs and goblins? Yeah, I mean, yeah, they came from the same
same base, so
they are related. Orcs are underground pigmen. Yeah, I could buy that. Also, you need to turn on whatever it is that lets other tubers raid. Lol. Tyrion tried to send you a minions to your stream. Oh no! People should be able to. I don't know. I wonder if I screwed something up. Let me look. Well, if people are just here, welcome in. If not, allow embedding. No, that's not right. It looks like it should be on. That's very strange. I'm sorry that didn't happen. Oh well.
Maybe people are typing your name in wrong?
Maybe. Is it? I mean, that's not really how it works. Usually you have to go to, it's just like a selection screen for me. But I'll have to look into that. Well, welcome in, everybody. Welcome, Vertex. And, yeah, welcome in. Hello, hello. We're drawing stuff today. We're doing the viewer suggestion. If you have a character, I'm Rookzer0. I do character art. I do fantasy character art. And today is the viewer suggestion, which is people can suggest their characters, and we roll the dice and we draw them. So yeah, welcome on in. I think it's the subscriber chat. Oh, interesting. Well, let's take a look at that. Usually I have the subscriber chat on, so that I don't get all the bots, because we used to get lots of bots running through here. We'll see how long it takes for my chat to get flooded with with horrible chat bots. But welcome in, everybody.
Bots are the worst.
You just say it in chat. Got it. It is very buggy. Yeah. So the way I always have to do it is I have to go through the edit menu and then like redirect, select it, and then when I end my stream, then send people, and it always breaks. So every time I try to do that, it sends my chat and then not me. And then I have to go and dig for the YouTube channel. And so I was just like, dang it, what happened? I hate it. So they need to fix that. They definitely need to fix that. But welcome in. Welcome in. How do you submit these ideas? Just type them in the chat. Normally the rule set is race, class, no mimics, and yeah, one sentence but is best because we just read it down there.
And only one.
Only one per week. Yeah, because we do this on Wednesday and Friday, and so that way if we have too many suggestions, like we did this week, we had about 20 suggestions. We're down to 13 now, but we keep getting more added to the list, so that way everybody gets a chance. And we roll some dice, and the dice decide what we draw. It's pretty great. It's a fun system. I'm drawing a half orc, half ogre. I'm not really sure how I'm going to make this look like. I'm going to go with like a really tight jaw. That feels like something orcs might have. I guess ogres kind of have like the lower. No, they both have lower tusks. Puppeteer, hello. Out of curiosity, what's been done already today? Let's see. We've got Druid over here drawing a Swamp Billy Thrycreen bug banjo player. I have drawn a Javelin lizard folk, a wood elf with a spear, a tabaxi pirate, and a rugby.
And I, Druid, have also drawn a Myconid playing a clarinet.
Pretty solid. Pretty solid.
And I don't draw. I just add commentary.
Yep.
Which is useful because I have a hard time doing two things at once.
Corvus is our resident Google expert. Let me Google
I don't know
that for
about
you.
that.
Production assistant.
Sure.
Producer.
The Myconids, yeah. Druid's Myconids are great.
They've come a long way. They have changed a lot since I started doing them as my warm-ups every week.
Mm. That's good though.
But I like them. They're fun.
If someone is from where you guys came from, the setting feature for YouTube redirect needs to be both channels to be added at the end. Global redirect doesn't work at all or works randomly. Yeah, it's very strange. If you guys came over from a raid, if you drop a link to where you were at in the chat in Discord, I'll post a link so people can see it. I do appreciate that for people coming in, and welcome in.
I would love to shout out where people came from, but I'm not sure where it was.
Second edition Pathfinder ogres for you.
Yeah, let me see those.
Let's check out the Pathfinder. Twitch has a really nice system. Yeah, those are just big beefy giants. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, they have horns too. I forgot about horns.
Ogres with
Entire-
horns are great.
That might be a
At least
helmet.
one has horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a helmet.
I like giants with horns. I think those are great.
The Jotun.
Yeah, the way Twitch works, or it used to work, is basically all you had to do was follow somebody on Twitch, and then you didn't even have to follow them. You could just type in their name and raid them.
Maybe there's a YouTube command for that. Maybe I'm the idiot.
I mean,
No, I don't know. It didn't pop up.
They really need a button. They need a button. They need to be able to select. You shouldn't be a setting you have to. Oops, Aggie just exploded. There we go. Looks like we're fine. This is the viewer suggestion, and we always allow people to draw with us. So if you do want to draw with us today, you're very welcome to. There's a link in the Discord.
I can shrink this and take up less room.
You do not have to draw viewer suggestions. You can draw whatever you want as long as it follows the rules of the Discord. Don't be a dick to people. Don't draw on people's stuff. Be appropriate. That's about all I got.
also, don't use the fill tool.
Don't use the fill tool. Yep.
Don't. Yeah,
It breaks.
that's the only other. That's the only other hard and fast rule.
Always helpful to remind people if they're new to it.
Yeah, I always forget. Aggie likes to break a little bit.
Double color everywhere.
Yep. You're using the fill tool. Would you like to destroy everybody's artwork?
Yes.
Fill tool. I see you woke up today and chose violence.
I don't remember what half ogre, half orc, warlock? I think this was a warlock, right?
Oh. Yes, Hexblade Warlock with a polearm and shield.
Shield.
I think that's what it is.
I do love me a polearm, so I think I'm also gonna give him like some scrimshaw on his tusks.
Neat. I know one of the non-D&D games I've wanted to play is called Xenobium. It's a Swedish game, and one of the people you can play is an ogre. Like,
Nice.
just straight up, like, you can't enter most houses.
Because you're too big, or people just won't let you?
You're just too big. Like, you're like start out like 10 foot tall,
Mm.
and you can get bigger.
Nice. It would be fun to play like an old school vampire detective that's not allowed to go in people's houses without permission. Go in there and tell me what you see. Oh, why don't you just go look? No. Just tell me. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
You can come in. Okay.
Yeah, which immediately reminds me once again of the Dresden Files, because
yeah,
I think in book 3 they talked a little bit about that, about thresholds and.
Yeah, I like that.
And, yeah, it's
It reminds me of. Also, I just saw a trailer for a new movie that's coming out called Renfield.
Interesting. That sounds really. What is that about?
It's like a remake of Dracula, but it's from Renfield's perspective.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And like how he goes to like this help organization for like toxic relationships, and it's like Nick Cage is Dracula too.
Yeah. That was a very funny trailer. I know what you're talking about, and I very much enjoyed it.
I'm genuinely interested in watching it. Because they actually gave him like a. Gotcha. From the trailer. Like he gets benefits for like eating the bugs, like getting super strength temporarily.
Why does the
instead of just being this weird?
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was reading chat. out loud.
Well, I was then, so.
Oh, okay. Are those regular horns or moose antlers? I don't know. Dark Kitty asks, why does the fill tool like to cause so many problems? I don't know why it does. It just does. It doesn't work right. And indestructible. Okay. His stream ended, but he's kind of shell-shocked by Watsy's announcements. Check you out. Nice. Well, I will thank him. Get him a good link. He makes some really good stuff. I'm really excited to see how his game comes out.
He's one of the few people who said they were going to make a game in response to all of this fiasco that I think is actually going to make a game.
Your elves are like bug people. Interesting. Yeah. Karn has been mellowing a little. He's been great with redirecting his huge audience to other YouTube members. That's awesome.
I have bug elves in my setting.
Bug elves.
I think yeah, Pathfinder did a little bit of like, they had some weird stuff when they were coming up with a lot of the elven sub races, and like the wood elves to me always had that little bit of like kind of alien bug feel because they had like big black eyes, a little twitchy. I kind of like that. Kind of like that design.
Well, when I mean buggers, I mean like they have like massive caravans of giant bugs they ride on.
Okay.
Like beetles.
Gotcha. That's really cool. I like that too. Try Mr. Rex Extra the Bard for monstrous playable races and species. Yeah, I really like their stuff too. Every time I make a Why You Should Play video, like the next day, it suggests the Mr. Rex video that he did like 2 years ago, and it's like, dang it, I'm never gonna get one up on Mr. Rex. He's got so much content, so good. Karen was talking about art direction for the Black Flag today. It looked neat. That's awesome. That's really good. He's ridiculous at understanding game mechanics. I have every confidence in him, and the others will figure it out. Working tabletop RPG. Yeah, I agree. I think, well, from a couple inches at least. Yeah. And that's a good way to do it. Like something else I've seen, because I've done a few. I've worked with a handful of publishers for their game arts, and a handful of people have like either commissioned or licensed some of my work for zines and stuff, and there's a handful of books out there with some of my stuff in them. But they having a good visual library of like, these are the images I like and the things I like about these images really helps artists kind of like build out what you want for games. So I'm glad that people are able to do that, especially when they're coming up with a game, like knowing what they want from the art style or what they're looking for. Because at the same time, I've worked with people in the past on Fiverr. I had a few people just contact me like, okay, I want this, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna not do that work. Like, I'm gonna return your $5. It was more than $5, but it doesn't matter. I'm just like, I'm not gonna do this because what you're asking of me is not my art style, and I don't do that. And I would try to help them find other artists, but it really is. It's a big thing to know what you want for your game. And sometimes it really is just as simple as being like, I like this game, and these are the 5 things I like about it. Is that something that your art is, right? And finding those things can be really important. And finding artists you really like can be really important. And really make a game come together because it fits your style and your vision of the game.
Provide reference in many descriptive words. Yeah. Simbarium RPG? Simbarium RPG elves. Have a whole black bug eye thing and cocoon and changed from a few times throughout their lifespans. That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, that's the same
That's what you're talking about?
With the ogre, yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool. Very cool.
It's kind of a classless system. Like, they have, like, templates of, like, oh, if you want to play this type of character, you can take these feats and stuff.
That's cool.
But it's like, you can take anything you want.
I've seen a few people try to make those, and those are really difficult to get off the ground. Because I think, and that's one of the boons from 5e, right? Is like they have very, like, here's your path, go for it, and it's really easy to not get bogged down in making a character. So those are, I love that idea because that's old school video game, right? Like your stats are here, and now you build what you're gonna do. And I love that. I love that concept, but it's terrifying when you have to sit down and like, I don't know what I'm looking for. So that's always a challenge. I just want big old beefy ogre mitts. Just like too big.
Pretty.
Pretty.
Yeah, Pretty's an ogre in Campaign 3. That's a chef at a greasy tavern.
Yeah.
They visit a lot.
That's funny.
He's awesome. He went on a date with all 3 of the ladies in the cast at once, and turned them all down at the end.
That's great.
I think we're looking for different things.
I just picture him like that four-armed guy from
Goro?
Star Wars movie. No, from Star Wars, there's... I can't remember his name.
I know who you're talking about. General...
He wasn't the...
Not General Grievous, right? Not the robot?
No.
You're talking about the big guy?
Who works at like a Greasy Spoon Tavern that Obi-Wan visits.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So there's that... there's a Jedi that's also that race. I can't remember what they're called, but he was kind of an asshole. That was the big thing. Yeah, the diner guy. You did Goblin Friend too. To pick their nose. Yeah. Ogres with Goblin Friends. I like that. Beetle Bard or musician is looking very good. It is. It's doing a great job.
Thanks. He is specifically a giant water bug.
Delicious.
Man, what was his name? Anyway.
I gotta Google.
Yeah, Google it.
Jax or something? Or Dax?
That sounds right.
Daxter Jetster.
Okay.
So Dax I think is what Obi-Wan calls him. Oh Lord.
What a weird, innocuous part of that movie.
Yep.
I always forget that it exists.
Because he's like, do you know what this is? And he's like, oh yeah, it's a saber dart.
The race is called Leviathan, I think.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, there was one in the Clone Wars series who basically just did not care about clones. Like he actively hated clones, so he just kept killing them, like sending them in on horrible missions.
I remember that guy.
Yeah.
He had like 4 double-bladed lightsabers and was actively slaughtering clones as part of his basically attempt to catch the attention of the Sith so he could swap sides.
Something like that, yeah.
I never remember they had like a pair of double lightsabers that I thought was super cool. It's like, that's so cool, but he's so evil.
It's an interesting concept. If you have multiple limbs, like, you obviously have to have some sort of higher cognition, right?
Yeah. Or at least your brain's got to be segmented in such a way that you can handle it.
Yeah. So adding multiple sabers maybe isn't too hard.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that idea. I always want to put tattoos on warlocks because I feel like if you have a warlock pact, you should be marked somehow. But I don't know if it needs to be a tattoo. Kind of trying to think of something else I could do. Mark on your soul. Get really edgy with it.
I like the idea of like a warlock losing an eye and having to replace like part of the pack. They lose, like, they swap eyes with their patron or something.
Yep, that would be really cool.
It'll be like that one guy in House of the Dragon who has like a sapphire for an eye.
You didn't actually watch that, did you?
No. Okay. I just knew that he gets like a sapphire eye.
You misunderstood.
Got a warlock back. Yeah, he does have a sapphire. It is pretty wicked. I really like that show. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I don't know why I said it like that.
Like, did I misunderstand what happened to him? Because, like, I know what happened.
Yeah, no. I was thinking about the king. I think.
Oh.
He's got like the mask and there's a whole. God, this series is great. Like, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff with it. He didn't get a warlock pack. He just got his eye cut out. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, that was not a good trade on his part. so no, like yeah, it's very much a
dragon though.
He did, yeah. He got a dragon out of it. So maybe that is a warlock pack.
I mean, that's a better warlock pact than most I've seen in D&D.
That's fair, yeah.
Can you imagine how many players would jump at the chance of losing a limb if their character got to have a dragon companion?
Oh man, Wildermyth loves just like
gouging people's eyes out.
Yeah, it's rough. Because they're just like, oh, your character died. Do you want your character to die permanently? I'm like, no. It's like, cool, they lost an arm. It's like, oh, okay, great. And then the story just continues normally. And it's like, can we talk about that a little bit? Like, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of their style for that.
That's weirdly similar to the game I've played. It's called the Crusader Kings 2.
Mm.
And, like, you basically play as a random king that you can pick from a huge list in, like, world history. But, like, things can happen. Like, oh, they get plague or some other disease.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, if you get plague, you get, like, this super badass mask.
Okay.
Because it's like it's a really terrible thing to happen to you, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you look so badass.
Yeah, that is very similar. Sometimes the things that happen are like, what was the weird one? You accidentally poke your hand and get a sliver, and it's like, do you want to take the sliver out? It's like, yes. But if you don't, you just slowly start turning into a tree, and you get like tree arms and tree legs. It's just like, this is very strange. I don't know what's happening. It looks kind of cool. Yeah. One of my friends got slowly started turning into lava until he had like lava arms. It's just like, this is a weird turn of events. All right, I think I've done enough with this big ogre orc. I'm not sure. I really don't feel like I've captured the orc side of it. Not sure what to do about that. Maybe we'll do the critical role thing and just give him a dark chin.
Variegation.
Yep.
I don't think it's variegation, but dual color.
Dual colored, yep. I think we're going to stop there.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. Drake Wardens had something similar, but not as powerful. Regeneration is your friend. Yeah, mutation in D&D is pretty fun. Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good thing that doesn't get fiddled with enough.
I should play a flesh warp people.
Flesh warp, yeah.
Or be a living skeleton.
Yep. You could also become a ghoul.
Yeah, Pathfinder 2nd Edition really did not hold back at all on the
No.
on the things that you can become.
I lost the list. There it is. Okay, here we go. Too many things open at the same time. We are living skeletons. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. just a meat puppet riding around in a meat mech. Rogue AIs riding around in meat mechs. A fetchling. Sorry, go ahead.
No, finish your thoughts.
A fetchling swashbuckler that uses a rapier and an iron claw in their offhand. That's yours, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I remember.
I'm having art for Somar.
Yep. I still can't remember what fetchlings look like.
They're shadow people.
Okay.
Share some art.
They're just gray humans.
Yeah.
What is
With
this
glowing
song?
eyes.
I feel like I'm in a 80s futuristic diner. That's better.
Hey, features.
You ever play like Commander Keen?
No, I have no idea. I've never heard of it.
I love
before.
those games. I love the Commander Keen games. It's basically like a kid builds his own spaceship and goes on adventures to save the babysitter or something like that. But it has that like kind of groovy vibe. But they're like, yeah, like ooh, hip hop, but in space. So it's just all weird tonal. Wow, 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 wow. It's like, all right, great. They were really fun little old games back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't
Fetchlings.
get to play games. Okay. Processing.
I'm not as impressed.
I thought that was going to be way more intense than it was. They are just great people.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. I was expecting like a Shadow Fiend or something.
That was first edition Pathfinder.
Yeah.
They were pretty jacked up back then.
So how much longer are you planning on going?
Probably. What time is it? 1 o'clock. I'm gonna finish this one for sure. Probably do one more after that.
Okay. I'll draw another one as well. Still rolling a d12?
Yeah. Does Somar need the curly locks?
Doesn't need to.
A 5.
A 5. Let's see what.
I think I'll describe them having. Go ahead and read it.
A deity of death with the appearance of a white tiefling with black eyes and a very, very long tail. Budding horns, long hair. Albino peacock is the inspiration.
An albino peacock tiefling.
I already drew this one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's do a different one.
How
Was that
long
on Wednesday?
ago? Not Wednesday. I think it was last week.
I remember the budded tiefling thing. We're talking about the horns. Those are like filed though.
Yeah, it's when I drew the peacock flavored magical girl.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do a different one then. How about an Asmar Archfey Warlock Enchantment Wizard? Archfey Warlock Enchantment Wizard. 5 eyes and no mouth. Oh my.
That'll be a challenge. Okay, I'll try it.
Cool.
All of the hypnosis.
One of my favorite things I heard someone say when referring to memory issues or mental illnesses, they're just meatloafs with electricity running through them. Of course, they're going to malfunction. That's a good way to think about brains. Reminds me of the Maniac Mansion for some reason. I don't know what Maniac Mansion is. Oh, yeah. That's an old school game, isn't it? I think so. Where is this list? I have it personally on my computer. You can add to it if you go to the community post on YouTube, the YouTube community posts, if you're following. You can suggest them. I usually post those on Monday for the whole week. Or you can just post a character in the chat and I'll add it to the list. But as we're just about done, probably save your idea for next week. The music, yeah, okay. I reworded it from last week. Okay, so it was Puppeteer's idea. It was reworded it from last week because last week you did her as a cleric, but I intended her to be a full-on god. There you go. 80s point and click adventure.
I didn't know how to portray that. I guess the one that I have, the Asimar, is not much easier, but yeah.
It's still on the list, and if it doesn't get drawn, we can draw it again next week. I won't ever hold guests to the dice gods. That's my jam. So don't feel bad, Druid. You can pick whatever you want. I don't know how to draw Somar. Maybe I'll go more rigid. Boxy face.
Yeah, I think the only thing I really described about him was like ashen gray skin and kind of longish hair that starts black, fades to white.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm getting younger.
And like their shadow kind of moves on their own, so because weird shadow stuff.
It's the best way to describe stuff.
Yeah. It was like he could like shut doors and lock doors with his shadow. That's one of the feats he has.
That's awesome.
I will eventually be able to hide stuff in my shadow or create items out of my shadow.
But having a weapon in your tail is just ridiculous. I love that kind of stuff. So good.
So if I make an item, I have to I take a point of negative damage.
Interesting.
So necrotic damage for 5th edition
The
players.
shadow just eats part of your.
And I can. It doesn't. It also has a low HP for an item, so it can easily break. But I can make a key or a dagger if I needed to.
Nice. That's actually cool. I like that. Shadow keys. Yeah, ASMR or ASMR. I'm not really sure the correct pronunciation of it. Partially because it's.
A made-up word.
Yeah, a made-up word written by a maniac. More vowels. Actually, I can't even remember how to spell it now. I'm sure it's derived from something, and if I looked it up again, I'd be able to tell you what the correct pronunciation is supposed to be. But
It has a double A.
Yeah, having the double A is not something I know the proper use of. So,
can you read the prompt for me one more time? ASMR.
No, I deleted it.
Ah, crap.
No, I got it. I just gotta go back.
It was a Archfey Warlock.
Archfey Warlock.
Multiclass with a enchantment wizard. That has
ASMR.
8 eyes and no mouth.
Right. 5 eyes and no mouth, I think.
Ah, 5 eyes.
Medium length hair.
Should we give him a high collar? Do fetchlings have pointy ears? I assume they do. Everything pointy.
I've mostly seen normal ears, but
Yeah, because I guess otherwise they'd be like a Shadowkai, right?
Which is what I kind of think is what they were derived from in the beginning.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Because there are definitely shadow elves, but are the fetchlings supposed to be shadow elves? I don't know if they are.
No, there were in Pathfinder. There were humans who went to the shadow plane.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think they would be different. I was just making sure I understood that I intended her to be a deity at the time I left clerics last week, toying with the idea of having a cleric. Before. Okay. Thanks to Gaja that affects the year.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't think you need to. This is a cool idea.
Yeah, sorry. By my not wanting to draw the same character slightly differently twice in a row is I did not mean that as an insult or to put you down in any way. My brain is limited, and I was kind of I don't know if I personally have the brain power to rework that one. So please don't feel bad. I apologize if.
Yep. No, I don't think you should need to feel bad. It's fine.
Oh no, Mel.
Googling on ASMR. Apparently, it's derived from a term called an Azamon.
Okay. A's S again? Or is, like, what's the...
Double A.
Double A, okay.
Simon.
And what's the country of origin and colloquialism?
It's just
Sorry.
I believe it's probably
Not colloquialism.
It's a name for angel. It's a localized name for an angel.
Okay.
I believe Syriac. So Eastern Mediterranean, Syria.
Okay.
I think was like a localized name for angels.
So then what I would do is I would look up the double A pronunciation in that language. Google should be able to spit that out. That's the problem I've run into quite a few times when I've been trying to like find etymology and stuff of different words. Is people are like, yeah, this is this. I'm like, well, that's the European model, and I'm not talking about that. I had that with tieflings, tieflings and tooflings, and it's like depending on where you're deriving it from, and if you're deriving it from the Germanic, which is the lore I was using, then it has to be pronounced tiefling. But none of it really matters. You can pronounce however you want.
Yeah.
Shatterkai were more mixed as a cover-all for most residents of the Shadowfell. Okay. 5e simplified it so that mostly it's just elves that follow the Raven Queen. Cool. Puppeteer, I did kind of like that it said beef before. Trying with the idea that she has been a cleric beef, and it's just like, what is a cleric beef? She's so strong.
I am the god of the cleric sandwich. If you haven't seen my ASMR video, go check it out. It's great. I make fun of the way it's said because I don't know how to say it.
Yeah. It's a weird word.
Second is the British way. Azamon.
And that's the only thing I've found. And Azamon. Did
Osmon?
Gygax and company just pull it out of their asses?
Oh, I mean, yeah, all the time, right?
Because there's not like a wiki page like how Drow has a wiki page.
Sure,
Wikipedia
yeah.
page.
Like, once again, all ASMR are just outsiders. Like, they're essentially tiefling is a better catch-all anyways. All ASMR are tieflings. Not all tieflings are ASMR. Changed my mind.
I think a better name for him is just Flame Touched.
Yeah, Flame Touch is a good way to do it too.
Because that's more generic than Tiefling.
Casually poison another javelin. We got lots of javelins in here today.
Yeah, I mean, tieflings I think are also just specific, very specific forms of outsiders. Outsider scions, so I'm not too worried about it in the long run. Wait, hair is white at the end?
So the name Tiefling apparently was created by the guy who's in charge of Cobalt Press.
Nice.
And according to him, it's derived from teeth, meaning deep or low,
Mm-hmm.
or long, and ling, meaning offspring. So
The deeplings, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's in my video. I didn't know it was by that guy though. That's really cool.
yeah, Wolfgang Bauer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were a lot of comments of German-speaking commenters that schooled me on that.
Devil folk, fiendish folk.
One of my friends was complaining about doing taxes. And I'm like, oh, it must be so difficult for you to get all of your tax information from one company. And then you do your taxes.
Once a year.
Once a year. And he's like, oh, yeah, I mean, like, I guess YouTube's got its bad stuff. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you also have to deal with comments. And I'm like, yep. And then he started trying to tell me about how awful comments are. And I was like, man, just shut up. It's fine.
Taxes were invented by devils.
I thought taxes were invented by the lizard people.
Oh, that's a good point. How long have the lizard people been around?
We're talking conspiracy theories or fantasy?
No, I mean, how many royal orders that would demand taxes were lizard people? I haven't gotten back into the lizard people part of YouTube yet. Now that I've talked about it, it'll probably pop up.
Yep.
Sorry.
I never really understood. Oh, go ahead, Fisher.
No, I'm just apologizing for bringing it up.
Like, I vaguely know what it's about, but I've never understood the conspiracy. I was like, so you just think...
Yeah, I don't have a lot of information to help you with that. I know that there was a big hit of, like, panic with the introduction of, like, VHS because of a lot of, like, compression would just screw up people's faces. But I don't know if it existed before then, because that's kind of where I started hearing about it. People being like, look, Al Gore's face turned into a lizard man. And it's like, that's how internet compression works. I'm sorry.
Oh, poor Al Gore.
Yeah. How edgy though?
He's
Fallen
wealthy,
ASMR
yeah,
edgy or tiefling edgy? I would argue they're the same. Sorry, say that again.
I don't pity Al Gore. He's got enough money that I'm sure he can find solace.
Well, it's not so much that, it's just like... I don't know, it's just like, he gets memed so much, and it's like,
He
he
did.
didn't deserve this.
He got a little bit of a raw deal.
Yeah, but again, he's got money, so
Yeah, he's fine. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I know he's fine. It's just
we talked about this the other day too, about like my love of not of South Park, because I don't like watching South Park, but the memeing of South Park. Al Gore on South Park was hilarious. Are you Al Gore? That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. He summons the devil to save
the environment.
Yep.
Thought about it a few times.
Cheddaro made a pretty good music video out of it. This is slander. No, watch my video. I'm serious. Go watch my ASMR video or the Tiefling video. I make it the comment in both. And I think it's a good argument that they are the same. They are the exact same, and both of them are different levels of edgelord. And maybe it's just going back to like 3.5, but like, yeah. Yep. Because the Fallen Aasimar and the Tiefling are essentially the same thing in my mind. Like, it's just whether or not your outsider lineage is of, oh no, what's the term?
Celestial or...
Thank you. Yeah, celestial.
Fiendish.
That's it. Celestial or fiendish in nature.
Now I'm starting to like the idea of a fallen tiefling falling so far that they, not tiefling, but Aasimar turning into a actual tiefling, getting red skin scales.
Absolutely. You're telling me a fiend wouldn't warlock pact an Aasimar? Like,
well, in D&D, one of the demon princes, or not demon princes, but Dukes of the Hells was a fallen angel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to get real edgelord. Like, that's the way you do it. You grow
Zario?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super edgelord. The halo reminds me of the two-frame piece where the first is an angel with a halo attaché, like horns, that come from the circle. I don't know what that means. Is it like an Art Nouveau thing? I have two, actually. I have exactly one jacket that can pull it off. Whoa, I missed something. What? Hold on a second. The Halo Nimbus, though, it looks really good. I'm a sucker for the Sherlock collar. Oh yeah, the big pop collar. I love it. Deeplings, you say? Rising eyebrows in town. I too actually want to have it in the right weather for it. Oh, you're talking about the jacket. Okay. I really wish I had a nice like duster or coat. I just have a lot of sweatshirts. Like, I have sweatshirts and then I have like really thick winter coats because that's how Idaho was.
I have a really nice pea coat, really nice gray wool, like 50s military style pea coat that I love, but I don't really dress up and I can't stand shoes. So I look really weird wearing it with flip-flops and 90s jeans.
Oh, I was gonna say you look really weird in a trench coat wearing flip-flops and nude underneath. Yeah, I bet people aren't excited about that look.
It is currently too cold to attempt that look.
Demon from the second of the tips that shattered to make the horns. That would be pretty cool. A two-frame piece with the angel and a demon together. That would make sense. Yeah, I think Allie Briggs might have done something like that. She's done a lot of really good demon art. Demons and dragons. Anything with horns, really. She just makes amazing.
Yeah. I'm very jealous of her abilities in that regard with the...
I'm not denying they're both edgy. I refuse to agree that Fallen isn't more edgy than a tiefling. I mean, it just depends, man. It just depends. I got mine on deployment, so it was very cheap. Nice quality, too. It's the way to do it. It's the way to do it.
And he's a white straight male, so yeah, you gotta watch out for those trench coats, people. Terrifying. I like the idea of the Eldritch Aasimar kind of look like Cthulhu. Oh yeah, absolutely. I really like that idea. Yeah, if you go with Aasimar or Tieflings, they're so similar. I mean, like they are the same. You really just do need to pick an outsider and then design it the way you want. I think that's the way to do it. Aberration Blood sounds really crazy. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I think that's a good way to go, because then you don't get stuck behind having to have like oh, I'm a holy angel. It's like, no, just do whatever you want, and then you don't get stuck like trying to be an edgelord. My father was the 5th hell demon. It's like, just shut up. Like, be a weird squiddly kid. It's fine.
Be a paladin if you want.
Yeah, be a paladin. Be a paladin with a weird tentacle tail. Maybe a unicorn horn.
The only Aasimar I've ever, I guess, came up with was an Aasimar kind of based around a quaddle, feathered serpent celestials they have. So they would have more scales and feathers.
Is that so like their wings, they have just bone wings, or do they have like scaly skin?
No, they would have scaly skin and like feathered wings.
Okay, cool. Almost look maybe like
hair.
I could see that being like them being confused for like a half dragon or like a lizard folk. That would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
But once again, I think that's the cool thing about the heritage system versus like having to pick a race.
Yeah.
And that's really the problem with Tieflings and Aasimar anyways, is that like those were cultural things derived from a specific setting of D&D. And so it doesn't make sense once you start like branching out and doing other things. And so you could definitely use the half dragon template for a Coatl Aasimar or Coatl outsider, and I think that would work great. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I was thinking something like my grandfather was a gibbering mouther. Yeah, that'd be really cool too. You know, just have weird hand or mouth hands. Those are always creepy. And just scream at people. Yeah. Oh.
I was convinced we were going to fight some sort of demon.
I was ready for a demon.
Not all of mouths.
You know what? They're always creepy.
In the campaign that I ran?
Yes.
In the Elven Tomb thing that I ran? Yeah. I'll tell you guys, when you play with me, expect more like Eldritch Horror shit and less religious iconography stuff.
Yeah, I tend to have a lot of religious iconography. Just grew up with too much of it.
Yeah, you were raised Catholic, so it's understandable.
Yep.
Yeah. It was someone I used to talk to, I think they were Mormon. But they once said to me, like, I can't understand Catholics because they just have so much paraphernalia. And I was like, what are you talking about? But they're just talking about like crucifixes, crosses, like statues of saints, rings, rosaries. It's like, oh yeah, no, we got tons of shit. Prayer cards, prayer beads, prayer coins. Like, yeah, I didn't think about it until that point. It was just like, I got a lot of stuff. Any demon that comes in my house is just gonna get like, don't sit on my couch.
It'll burn you.
Yeah. Deidre was a tiefling. Naruto fan. Stop. Yeah, why not? Right? It totally works. Nom 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 nom. That was weird. I know exactly what you're talking about. That was a weird guy to fight. I have bubblegum ninja powers. Like, whoa. Hard pass.
Even though it very much looked like bubblegum, it was supposed to be clay, which was even weird. Like, why are you chewing it?
Yeah, why are you chewing on clay? That was always bothered me. I think I'm about done with this. I like that he made
little clay figures that exploded. That was cool.
Mm-hmm. He's a good character. But weird.
Yeah. What's with the hand mouths and chewing of the C4 clay?
Get the coat you want. The life is too short not to dress like an avatar as you want. Oh, dress your avatar as you want. Yeah, I agree. I think that's all I'm gonna go. I don't think I need to add much more to this. I didn't actually do much, but it's just a dude with floopy hair. It is 143. I think I'm probably gonna call it there. I had some random thoughts. Have you ever thought about making a fantasy coloring book? I have. I have a fantasy coloring book. Somewhere on my computer. I tried to publish it through Amazon's thing, and I tried a handful of times and I kept getting errors. And I don't know if it's because the book was too big or if I just screwed up the formatting. I struggled with it for a little bit, and then I emailed one of my friends who has published on Amazon's marketing, like Amazon's publishing thing. We just kind of, I think we got distracted and forgot about it. So I do have one. I have one set up. I just need to actually get it published. So that could be something I work on. Something I've been thinking about doing, and something I do with the Patreon, is whenever I make a video, I release just the line art of it. And I'd always thought it'd be fun for people to color those, but I think I've only had like one person ever actually color one of them. So those exist. If people want those exist. And I would love to see people color them. I also have been printing some of them out and sending them out as like small cards for the Patreon members. So check out the Patreon page. It's great. You know, helps support the channel, which is awesome. And if I had infinite money, I would do most of my shipping from, I don't know what that is.
What is it?
I don't want to say it because I'm afraid it's a D's nuts joke. But yeah, I think it would be fun to do a coloring book. There's a handful of, I think the other problem I had with it is like when they do those things, they want somewhere between like 40 pages, which I just don't have a lot of. I do also have a book out that I didn't publish. I had a publisher publish it. They came to me. They came to me and was like, "Hey, we want to do a how to draw book," and I did that. It's published and it's out there. And I don't make money on residuals, so I don't like promote it very often. But it exists. You can look that up. It's just called How to Draw Fantasy. It's pretty good. It's okay. Lots of fun stuff in it. Maybe I'll show that off sometime. I think it's on my Instagram somewhere, but I'm not sure where they're actually selling it. I think you can only get it at brick and mortar stores. I don't think you can buy it online. But yeah. Gotta know your opinions on Tieflings Rising. What is Tieflings Rising? Is that something I don't know? Is that a specific
Is it maybe about tieflings like overcoming the demon blood and becoming like Asimar?
Oh, like the opposite of falling? Interesting.
Yeah.
Ascending. I would do that. I would do that as like an ascension. Ascendance. Ascending tiefling? Either way. Risen tieflings also could be fun, but that would be more undead in my mind. Yeah, I think that's fine. Like I said, I think a lot of it is, a lot of the heritage classes and races are essentially based off of, usually derived from bloodlines, which is kind of boring to me, partially because it doesn't always make sense. Like, just because a dwarf is a dwarf doesn't mean they should be really good at blacksmithing. That should be based on their growing up. Yeah, their training. Yeah. So, while I do think there should be, this is sounding like a really political fight. While I do think there should be some things like Dragonborns having the breath weapon, I think that's cool. Like those kind of heritages that are based on your genetics really should be more focused in on your class. Like the bloodline wizards gaining dragon powers. I think that's really cool. I think that is a better way to do it because then it grows with you, right? Really, I think from a stat perspective, the bloodline you have should really give you an onset functional ability. So like whether it's a claw attack or something that can be added in there, but then everything else should be should be numbers. So if you want to be a fiend-based tiefling that was raised by Aasimar, I think that's really cool. And I think you could use those maybe demonic powers in a way that a regular Aasimar would. So maybe you have a way to heal people. Like you can use your demon blood to heal people. I think that's really cool. I think they designed some costumes in the most recent Dune. Oh, okay. That would be pretty awesome. The Dune coats are really cool. I would definitely get some of that. In my words, I have dwarves learn all that stuff in their public schools. Yeah. And that goes back to the heritage thing. So like anybody that was raised by dwarves should have access to those feats. Maybe dwarves are better at it because they're more long-lived, or they're used to using dwarven tools, but or like they're more fit for them, right? Like a kobold might have trouble using a regular dwarven blacksmith hammer or something. But once again, that's all heritage feats, which I think Pathfinder is doing a much better job of, versus ancestry feats, which you get less of, but can be very, very specific. Like, oh yeah, you're a dragonborn, you have a really long tail that you can do an extra attack with. I think that's cool. I have to sign up with color on your line arts. I would much prefer color than draw. Yeah, you know what? We could do that. We could definitely. That could be something we do for the Patreon group as well. We could do like a monthly live stream where we let people come in and just color. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll ask the Patreons if they're okay with that, because as of right now, like the colored line arts have been a Patreon reward. But maybe I'll start releasing those like just into the chat, giving people like, here's a coloring page for people to color, and then they can all post it and we can share those at the end of the month. That would be really cool. I like that idea, and it would give me an excuse to go back and like clean up some of my line art, which I always like doing. So I think that's cool. I think that's really good. Druid, I like this a lot.
Thanks. It's slightly creepy.
Yeah.
Which I think was part of the point. So I feel
success. Yeah, good job. Thanks for drawing with me today.
Yeah.
Jolene, if you're still here, thank you for drawing with me as well. I think that's all we got. I'm gonna post my stuff.
I will as well.
Okay, in the Discord and draw. If people want to use it for their home games, feel free. That's what I like doing it for. If you guys want to throw some money at the Patreon, that's awesome. If you want to throw some money at the chat, cool. Otherwise, we'll just be back. There's a new video out on YouTube. It's how to draw goblins. It is a culmination of me drawing goblins for a month and not knowing what the hell I was doing. So I had a lot of fun making it, but it was also just like, it's weird. It's a weird video. It's like 2 minutes long. I definitely needed to do it, which is the thing. Like, now that it's out of my system, my brain's going, and I think I'm gonna have a lot of videos coming up here soon, because I want to get a Kitsune video up. I want to get a handful of different Pathfinder characters up, and yeah, so that was a cathartic video to make, how to draw goblins. And I still feel like I didn't show people how to draw rugby at all. So so we'll see how that goes, but I love that goblin video. Good, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It feels almost more like a caricature of one of my videos than normal videos. So we'll have some more normal ones coming up soon. But I'm glad I got that one out of the way. Otherwise, that's all I got. Thanks for hanging out today, everybody. Another year started. We have a whole bunch of work to do the next few months. Next week, I think next week will be normal, and I might be taking a few days off after that. I might be taking that Friday off, so two weeks or so. But otherwise, everything will be cool. Gonna hang out, do some stuff. Let's see if we can find somebody to raid. Not share the video. Share this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I gotta get those in there. If I don't say it, YouTube gets mad at me. Redirect. Here we go. I really wish the redirect was like a button function. I think that would be great. I don't know how to do it. Okay, here we go. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Other than that, that's all I got. Stay happy, stay healthy, keep your dice on the table. We'll catch y'all next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody. See you later. We're gonna go hang out with Indestructible A. He won. OGL1 is here to stay. I like it. I like it a lot.